Hi, welcome to Eye Openers. I'm your host, Brittany Drozd, and each week I bring you insightful conversations with entrepreneurs that will help you make more money, become a strong leader, and build a business culture that you're proud of. Grab your coffee and let's dive in. Hello and welcome to Eye Openers. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It is a pleasure to share any insights that we can create from business and life, but mostly from the caffeine that we drink in the morning. So I have a special guest with us today, and you'll learn more about why he is special, at least to me. But first, we always start with what we're drinking because caffeine highlights those special insights that we can take with us. Today, I'm not drinking caffeine. I'm actually on a water kick. It's early in the morning over here, and I always start with water before coffee. How about you, Robin?
Hot tea. Hot tea for me.
Hot tea for you. No coffee.
No coffee today. Coffee a couple of times a week, but mostly tea.
Okay. Well, tea certainly qualifies. I know I have a ginger turmeric tea that does the trick for me, wakes me right up. So I definitely understand the value of that. So let's get into why you're here with us today. For you guys who don't know, Robin is my dad. So welcome, Dad, to the show.
Thank you.
We wanted to do a special episode for Father's Day, but really my dad has been a model for me for entrepreneurship and to not be afraid to try things. And so I thought it'd be really cool to talk with the audience about how you've gone on your journey and how it has really just changed the way that I think I viewed what my options were and allowed me to feel like it was just normal to start my own business in my 20s and go for that. Why don't you give us a little synopsis of your career and when you have moved into and out of businesses and for different reasons?
Okay. Well, let's see here. I'm going to say I was probably 86. I was in my 20s. First got licensed with a desire to start my own framing company as a framing contractor down in Southern California. Framing custom homes. That was my passion. I had, been in construction since I got out of high school and really enjoyed the custom home part of it once I got into that and away from the production work, and just really enjoyed it and thought I could make a mark and make a difference in that industry locally down there. So I got myself licensed and started marketing myself to architects and builders and stuff to get that going, and had to kind of phony up some paperwork initially because I didn't have a track record. Once you get licensed and you start out, you don't have a history to brag about or present to people. So I kind of had to use some of the stuff that I'd done as a non-licensed person to persuade them to give me the chance. But I'd done a good job with getting myself together on paper, so I looked professional. I know that much. And I knew I could do the work. It was just a matter of getting, in that first job and get going. So that ultimately happened, and everything went well on that first one, and took off from there and stayed moving on it.
What motivated you to do that versus go be hired by somebody to do that work?
Well, I had been an employee since I got out of high school in framing and in the construction industry. And I'd worked myself up, to a foreman position in a big production company where we did condos and tract home projects, things like that. So the next step was either stay there, do that, or move on to do something else. But I truly enjoyed the custom home part of it. And I hadn't really crossed paths with any custom home builders that much as far as, framing contractors. So, I just thought that my skills at that time qualified me to work in that industry. And so, I just took the chance and thought I can do this and, put in the time and the effort. And all of a sudden that's what I was doing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
your dad, my grandfather, also works for himself.
Yep.
And that, I guess I just don't take for granted that seeing that modeling and just thinking that's normal, like people just do this. It just never crossed my mind, like when I did that myself, but I didn't, as I've gotten older and talked to more people, I realized, oh, that was, that modeling is what made it seem like, oh, it's no big deal. Just, that's what people do. You just go do that. But not everybody has that experience, I've learned. So now, you're in your 20s is one thing, but then, you were married and then had kids. How did you manage the challenges of running a business while also raising a family? A lot of the people that listen to this show and then my clients are just, there's a lot to juggle. And I hear, people are exhausted, just time management comes up all the time. What did that look like for you? Maybe like early on and then later as we were growing up?
Well, you get up super early in the morning. And that's how you get a jump on things, because it's the quiet time of the day. I had always been, let's go back to your grandfather, my dad. I was trained to get up early because my dad got up early. Yeah. And so it's just something that seemed natural. Like you commented earlier about seeing your grandfather, then me, and then ultimately you. It seems normal to nothing new to start a business, nothing crazy. And so getting up early didn't seem odd to me because that's what happened in our household. And my dad, that was my role model. And I saw him do it. And so when it came my turn to have these, the extra load, the extra pressure, stuff, that it just seemed, okay, well, apparently you get up early and you do these things. So that's what I did. And, get up early, do some of the business side of it, then hustle off to the job site and spend the day on the job site working. And then if there was stuff left to do when you get home, probably do it after you guys, eat and go to bed, a little bit there. Can't stay up too late because again, I'm getting up early. So it's a really short night if you stay up late and work and then get up early and work. So, you find the balance just by doing, because again, when we became parents, we didn't really have much to fall back on other than, watching our parents be parents. And so, as things came up and we dealt with the different things that come up based on what we saw our parents do and what was happening in our lives at that time, what's the best way for us to handle this? So there wasn't really any specific plan. It was just, and I can't say it was all reaction, but that is kind of what happens. You have to, early on, you are reacting until you start to see repetitive actions, you kids and the situations that we had as a family repeat itself. And then things get easier and calm down. And same with business. You go in and you get after it, but there's points in time where things become repetitive and now it gets easier because, oh yeah, this happened before. This was my reaction. This was the result. So now either I'll repeat that with the same reaction for the same result or a different reaction for a different result, based on how positive those outcomes were. So same with parenting. I'd say it's pretty similar, except that a lot more fun being a parent than it is being a business owner. I truly enjoyed being a business owner and all the different things I've done, but truly enjoyed being a parent because it's not business. It's real life, and it's not employees, it's kids and a wife. And so that's a huge difference there. Huge difference, but lots of fun.
Well, speaking on some of that same vein there, what were can you identify any specific challenges that you faced as an entrepreneur and a parent, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Oh boy. Sure. The business part is easy to answer. The pursuit of money is the big thing in business, as you know. And it's not everything, but it's a big thing. But to get that money, which is why pretty much everybody goes into business. And I get it that there's a lot of different reasons people go into business, but I think in the back of everybody's mind, they want to experience success and experience a good life based on making a good living from a successful business. But I learned early on that the success comes from pursuing perfection and doing the right thing. I didn't try to be anything other than what I was naturally, or what I felt I was. Pardon me?
Perfect.
No. I don't mean that. I meant like in business. I was straight up with all my customers, really black and white with all the information, because I wanted them to have a good experience. Even early on when I was a framing contractor and I was dealing with general contractors and with architects and things like that, I wanted them to feel that a comfort level that I was the right choice. And so I made sure that they didn't have to babysit me, that I came in prepared. I had enough manpower. I had enough equipment. I had the knowledge to take on even the toughest parts of any project. But the pursuit of that was my goal. And knowing that if I did a really good job at those things, the money would be there because I would have earned it and I would have put myself in the right position there. So initially I thought money was a big deal, but then I didn't think about money. After I got rolling, I just focused on the tasks and my procedures and things like that to then put me in a position that the money wouldn't be that much of an issue.
Right.
And, yeah.
So. What about how have you managed challenges, having to have these dual roles as an entrepreneur and as a parent? Had anything come up? Was there anything that became a challenge when trying to do both?
Well, of course, there's challenges trying to do both because, I would have employees and had employees. So I have to make sure that they have a chance to, earn their living to support their families. And so I have to stay on top of my business at all times to make sure that there was something there tomorrow for everybody, every day. And so you learn how to, set up your business days to cover that, all sides of that, so that your employees are covered, you're covered. And then at some point in the day, as you're getting towards the end of the day, you realize, okay, now it's time to transition into family man. And so you start thinking about that. And luckily, all this took place in an era where we had cell phones, which made it a lot easier than our parents probably, or my parents. With cell phones coming into play, it was easier to communicate at home. I could be reached at any point during the day. I could reach home at any point during the day. And so as we got into the later part of the day, I'd be communicating with your mother, and we'd be figuring out, which practice we have to go to get you there or your brother there. And then after that, when we started really getting aggressive as a family, and you kids were each playing 2 sports, then we were multiple practice, sometimes each day, multiple practices and games and things like that, daily, weekly, weekends. And then, but that's the fun part. See that as we got to the end of the days and I knew I was coming into the, transitioning into dad, in the afternoons, that was fun. I looked forward to all that. It was a blast. Loved every minute of it.
Yeah. That's a lot. Even now we have maybe like one activity in the afternoon or whatever, and I'm working on that transition and managing that. And I don't know how I don't know how people do it, but we're going to figure it out. I'm trying to educate and brace my husband for that, because I don't think he thinks about those challengers that will come, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like this I think sometimes it feels like this misnomer when you work for yourself, like, oh, I have the freedom, I have the opportunity. But you also have a lot on your plate. And
commitments.
yeah, but I do remember like you were super involved. I remember you being at my games. How did you make that happen? It was just like, was it like a priority you decided, a value that you had in your mind? Like, this is something that's important to me. How did you make that determination? Was there a principle that you fell back on?
Well, initially, it was just about enjoying being a parent and a dad and wanting to be with you guys as you experienced these different things that came up daily and weekly. I, being a sports fanatic myself, I wanted to be there to watch you learn to play these sports and then offer what I could as advice and stuff as along the way. And as you know, occasionally I ended up being the coach, here and there for both you and your brother, different sports and stuff at different times, and lots of fun. Totally enjoyed that. And again, it put me there with you guys as part of it, as instead of as an off in the distance spectator. And that was, I think that kind of stuff's ingrained in me, I guess, or it just came naturally. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be in the middle of it with you, and doing it with you. That was the easy part. You didn't have to beg me to get involved. I wanted to be there. And then as I see you guys grow and evolve, it just became better and better, because as you guys got older and more skilled at your different sports, it was just so much fun to go there and watch it all happen. It's great.
What advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur who's also raising a family, someone who's looking to maintain a healthy work-life balance? What advice would you have for them?
Well, let's see here. The first thing you have to do is the family is very important. But I think when you're in that situation, I think you kind of have to say business first, because without that, the family part would struggle, I think. So, my advice would be to get up early and attack your business and get your days under control as early as possible. So when the afternoon does come around, then you can easily step away and into, parent mode and dad and, be part of that with everything that you have, so that you can enjoy it and not be a spectator from the distance. But get inside of it and be part of it. It's something you wouldn't, if you got to experience it and then had a thought of, well, gosh, was this worth doing or not? I think I can't believe there's anybody out there that wouldn't say it wasn't worth doing, but I would say get after your business first. And then that gives you the freedom to be the parent that you want to be.
Right. So take care of what you need to so that you can enjoy and be fully present.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love it too, because I think it's kind of counterintuitive. People would say, oh, family first. But in a lot of ways, that's actually putting family first by making a sacrifice to get up, take care of what you need to so that you can mentally be present. I think that so much of it is like these lingering things in your head. And I know when I have days where I'm just thinking about stuff that can't be done in this moment or needs to be done, it steals the joy. So really just getting up, focusing, taking care of things. I call it eat the frog. If you can just wake up and do the one thing that's the most important that moves your business forward, and you've done that by 7 a.m., then you take that momentum of achievement forward.
Exactly. And when you asked me the question, that's exactly what was going through my mind. Family first, but in order to put family first, like you said, the business has to be first to make family first. And it sounds kind of funny to say all that, but it does work that way. And I think it was good for me and successful for me. Can't say it's the same way for everybody, but it worked for me. And I feel rewarded with my path. That I feel I had, good success with my business as far as, feeling rewarded that I did a good job for a lot of people. And then as a dad, it was totally enjoyable, and I feel I got my money's worth.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on today and being willing to do this with me.
Sure.
Guys, I didn't really give him much preparation or lead time, and he was game for it. So that's the kind of person and dad you are. So thanks for showing up for this special Father's Day episode. And thank you to you guys for listening in and hopefully taking away some special insights from this episode where, number one, you don't have to drink coffee to have insights, but also that you can put your business first, and that's actually putting your family first. So think on that. Think about, what does that mean for you? What adjustments could you make to how you show up in your business to actually show up more for your family? As always, we love hearing from you. So feel free to comment wherever you are catching this episode. Respond if you're getting an email from me, because we love to hear how you take these insights and turn them into real life positive experiences for you and your business. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for joining us this week on Eye Openers. Make sure to visit BrittanyDrose.com/podcast for this week's show notes. And if you found value in today's episode, I would so appreciate you giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts or share it with a friend. Also, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. This all helps to support the show.